Good afternoon. Welcome to another seditious screed of diatribes from the voice of doom. Now here's your ranting and raving host, voice of doom. All right. I've decided I gotta throw the gauntlet down now. I'm really about as mad as I've ever been. And you can use mad in many different ways. I'm angry. I'm kind of insane. And I'm passionate. I got mad again. And I was going to put the whole thing on the line on this diatribe and just really scream, but then I decided I'll chant first and do my morning practice, which puts me in rhythm with the universe. And I didn't get any less angry. In fact, I probably got more angry, but I'm not going to scream and holler because by the end of this diatribe, I may be, under some sort of house arrest. I'm going to tell you why I'm mad, but first, where can I start? I see people my age and younger trying to run a very difficult planet, a very complicated planet. I'm going to go through all the crap again. This place is very complicated. There's a lot of wires. There's a lot of things in the air floating through. And they may be alive and they may be man-made. There's waves. There's huge buildings. I don't know how they make them, but, to maintain all this that we live in is very difficult. And it's a difficult planet. It's complicated with all the technology. So I see people my age and younger trying to run things, and I know they can't because I grew up with them. And I don't care how many geniuses there were. No, I know they're all dumb and lazy and not going to do things the right way. So how these things get built, I have no idea. But I just got enraged at this duplicity and impunicity and complacency. I'm getting sick of it, so I'm going to have to throw down the gauntlet because I'm really pissed that nobody's been watching these diatribes because I've said everything. I've told you the meaning of life. And I've told you how we can get out from under these problems. It's going to take some major change by everybody. I'll read a few words that might get me arrested. But I want to be, and I'll tell you why later. When, in the course of human events, it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of and of nature's God, interesting, entitles them. A decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation. Now, I'm not going to go through the causes that Thomas, somebody, I think he's been canceled, his memory is slowly fading, wrote seditious nonsense about people, one people, didn't say black people, didn't say white people, didn't say blue people, it didn't say non-documented people. It said people, community. The community's being oppressed, then you separate yourself from the political system that you're bound to, okay? I know that he's revolutionary. I know he's a right-wing nut, insurrectionist, but it does make sense that if you feel like your government is not functioning correctly, that you should disband from it. So I'm calling for a disbandment because I can see that they're trying to kill everybody. And now I'm also going to say that I've always considered myself a pacifist. And by pacifist, I mean I don't like killing. And I try to rationalize any responsibility I have for killing in the name of surviving in a decent way by eating meat, okay, eating fish. So I'm responsible for their deaths. But I never really wanted to kill anyone for a cause. The causes that I saw in my lifetime were not something I would want to fight for because it's not my concern. Like Vito's, Corleone's, it's not interested in things that don't concern me. But then it occurred to me, and it kind of came today, it's been decades, that I think I would fight passionately if my personal freedoms or personal pursuit of happiness or personal confidence that my children will grow up in a decent society is threatened, I would take up arms. And I would be really into it. Because I would be like, this is for, for all the marbles. Because these people, much as they think that they're noble, and they dance around everything, sooner or later somebody's got to say that we need an usurpation. We need an overthrow of the government. And I want the Secret Service to come. I want the FBI to get this YouTube. I know YouTube won't even put this on, but that doesn't mean they won't turn it in. And I want them to turn it in because I'm not getting anywhere with this thing. Don't you get it? I need publicity. So I'm not going to go running around putting banners on websites. Either find it or don't. Watch it or don't. But I'd like people to because I think I've said a lot. And I'm saying a lot right now because they can come after me because I would take up arms and I have no guns. So don't surround me with a SWAT team. I have nothing. I have no weaponry whatsoever. And I have no interest in using any. But if push came to shove and there was a legitimate, and I mean, it would have to be an opposition that were, into justice and freedom. If we start going like other countries and just overthrow governments and have a military junta or have some other thing, then I don't want to do it. It's got to be a sound insurrection, and I will join. And I am going to promote it. I think everyone else should too. Because if they're seeing what I'm seeing, then they shouldn't be willing to put up with it. I'm getting sick of the complacency, man, because I would join immediately if there was a concerted effort to end this now. Because these guys are doing a lot of damage and they've only had a year. Give them 3 more, oh my God. It's going to be a smoldering pit. So I'm trying to avoid that. We have to do something pretty quick. Sounds like ranting, but everybody wants to say it. You hear it on the news. They're shuttling people. It's all coming out. Everybody can see it. They're shuttling in people, and God knows what they're doing with them. But somehow we're going to pay for their upkeep. And it's not right. And at the same time, we're so worried about the Ukrainian border that we're going to pull out all the stops to make sure that doesn't happen, and we're gearing up for a confrontation. These idiots that I grew up with forgot that just because the Soviet Union fell, they didn't just give up their bombs. There could still be a nuclear holocaust, atomic mushroom clouds. They still have them. Oh, Russia's nothing. Their economy is the size of Italy. Well, what are the size of their bombs and their arsenal? You guys just don't get it. I don't even know if this is going to be that long. I'm totally enraged. I'd call for the overthrow right now of the government by a responsible organization. And I would suggest the lower echelon of the military to get it off. And let me tell you something else. It's not that hard to create new governments. MacArthur did it on the plane ride over to Japan. He created a whole new government for him on a piece of paper. So we could do it better, and we could have elections better too. I mean, we can send a man to the moon. We can do so many incredible things with digital transmission that to say that the vote is going to be a fraud or not be a fraud, we can vote very easily and have it be very accurate with technology and a certain uniformity. There's 50 all these different rules and gerrymandering and all the other crap they do with the rules. It doesn't make for fairness. You just press a button and there's my vote. And if your fingerprint says you're not a person who can vote, then your vote doesn't get counted. It's very simple, and you know they could do it. But they don't. They make a big scarecrow or straw man out of voting rights. And there's billions of other things to overthrow the government over. Billions. Crime, come on. They're allowing total impunicity throughout the country, or at least in the country where they're lax. I don't think they could come into Carson City and start just walking out with stuff with impunicity. They would be arrested immediately. But, total incompetence with foreign policy, which could get us all killed. I won't go into the social stuff. That's going to have to take care of itself. No government's going to change what's already been demolished or what may have to, be rethought. There's a way for things to be fair. Everybody can be happy, but you don't push it. I've told you everything in the past ones. I advocate the overthrow of the so-called U.S. government. I don't care if it's seditious. I guess I'll be probably incarcerated without a trial because that's what they seem to be doing to people that might have a contrary opinion to what's been going on. They're in isolation. They're not being tried. It's not really the American way. The justice system, forget it. They're going to name judges based on what, color they are, what their pedigree is, and nothing else. And the judicial system is hopeless because it's not separate from the tribes. Not separate. It needs to be separate. It needs to be dispassionate. You look at things with common sense. What's right and what's wrong. You don't say, well, I'm on this side, so I got to say that you got to do what our president says. Whatever. It's all wrong. It's got to be torn down. Start from scratch. All over again and do something different. A more modern, efficient way of solving problems, and to hell with the government. So I think I said a lot. I'll be waiting for them to come get me. I hope it's soon because I want to get people to watch my thing, and the sooner I get onto national news, the sooner everyone might, take a little something from what I've said. And I've gone through life and death. I've seen it up close. I can give you a lot of different perspectives and maybe help. So I'm almost at 15 minutes. That was a good little rant. I think this is going to go down as one of my best and maybe my last. So arrivederci, everyone, and grazie.